Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the State Treasurer's Office webinar series, Inside the Vault, Resources for Local Leaders. My name is Christian Daly, the STO's External Affairs Manager, and I'm excited that you've joined us today. A few housekeeping notes before we get started. This webinar is being recorded and it will be made available afterwards. The information shared today will be sent to all in attendance and to those that registered. We encourage you to drop your questions, if you have them, into the chat. We have a treasure trove of information lined up for you. As we move through today's webinar, we will be addressed by State Treasurer Fiona Ma, as well as learn about two exciting programs within our office. Learning something new that can benefit those that you serve or even your own household. In fact, we hope you have a eureka moment, like a California-specific aha moment. This webinar will be as interactive as it is informative, as we have a few polls for you to engage with us. Without further ado, let's open up this vault. So we are starting off with a poll. In what part of California do you primarily work? I see the poll is up, and let's dive in and see. Okay, results are coming in, and I see the scales shifting. Looks like majority of us are in Northern California, followed by a close second of Southern California. Well, regardless of where you are, we're happy that you can join us here today. Now, I'd like to introduce the person who puts the ST in STO. State Treasurer Ma is California's 34th State Treasurer. She is the first woman of color and the first woman CPA elected to the position. Treasurer Ma is a primary banker for the world's fifth largest economy. She serves as the chair for various boards, commissions, and authorities, or what we like to call BCAs, and she is a board member on two of the nation's largest public pension funds. Welcoming Treasurer Ma.
Thank you all. Thank you all for participating in our first Vault webinar. We really are going to try to do more outreach and awareness and get the information out to so many people who are still struggling post-pandemic, are having a difficult time accessing the resources that they need. And although I do try to go around the state and participate in as many chambers and rotaries and economic development conferences as possible, I know that we are not able to reach everyone. So this is our attempt at trying to reach more people through our virtual webinars. So I am the California State Treasurer. I am the state's primary banker. Every year, about $3.7 trillion comes through my office. I invest the state's idle funds as well as the funds for 2,200 local government units. That portfolio is about $185 billion today. I also issue all the bonds for the state of California, the UC and CSU systems, mostly for infrastructure, for building roads and government buildings and schools, hospitals, etc. And then I also chair 15 boards, commissions, and authorities. I fund and finance the affordable housing projects around the state through bonds and tax credits. Fund all the children's hospitals through the three bond initiatives that Californians have passed. Fund the public charter schools, public transportation, green energy, advanced manufacturing, and we're going to have Sheila later on talk about some of these programs. And I also oversee 5 savings programs. So that is just within the Treasurer's Office. I also sit on CalPERS, CalSTRS, the California Earthquake Authority, California Housing Finance Authority, the iBank. So essentially, anybody who needs or wants money, please come see us. So today, we have a couple of priorities, as is on the screen right now. Financial wellness, which I talked about through our savings programs, economic development through our savings. I'm sorry, through our loans and our grants. During COVID, we received $28 billion from the federal government that we have been rolling out in different grant programs. We still have some money left, and we are always looking for feedback in terms of which industries who did not receive any of the COVID relief money. And so we do have more programs that are rolling through, not only statewide, but also in different parts of the state, so regionally and targeted. Climate and sustainability is another one, trying to make sure that we meet our climate goals that are set by the governor and the legislature. And we have a number of different programs, whether it's, replacing all the polluting diesel trucks, making sure that we are able to allow more Californians to buy electric vehicles, put solar panels on their roofs, for example. So these are some of the programs that my team will talk about. And then, of course, housing. We all know that housing is a crisis. Like I said, I fund and finance the affordable housing projects. Over the past 5 years, we have focused more on construction of new construction for extremely low and very low individuals, but there is a whole need for workforce housing. Those middle income, the teachers, the police officers, firefighters, government workers, and we know that that is a big struggle. And so I'm always out there asking for investors to please invest in those middle income housing that is desperately needed. We also are working on building more student and faculty housing on the UC, CSU, and community college campuses. So we have heard from those institutions that one of the most expensive parts of going to college is housing. So if we could build more housing on those campuses, we could probably bring down the total cost of going to a UC, a CSU. And for community colleges, I know many of you are taking advantage of free community college for the first 2 years for a first-time college goer, but sometimes there's no housing. And so many of the students are living in their cars or couch surfing. And so we hope to be tackling that issue very soon. Let's see what my next screen, resources. Okay, so we have many resources, as I mentioned, and we are just we're really trying to make sure that we get these resources out. As you know, in government, if you don't use it, we lose it. And so we received money from the federal government, we've received money from the state. We are trying to roll out these programs. And so here, thank you all for being here today. And I do want to mention for those who are interested, we have 8 modules that we have created to give you more information about how government works. If you want to issue bonds, what does debt mean? If you have a pension system, what do you need to know about that? And so I hope that someone will be talking about our self modules, self-taught modules. They're not that long, and you can educate yourself to make sure that you can trust, but you should verify. And understanding how finances work within your agency or your nonprofit or your company, I think is very, very paramount as a CPA, understanding where the money goes, what you should be investing, how you're going to allocate, because dollars don't lie, right? Numbers that are on a financial statement, they are the numbers. You cannot manipulate them. So the more you can understand what that means, the better off that you're going to be. So I am going to turn it over to my very able team, and I will turn it back to our MC, Christian Daly, and I hope you enjoy this webinar. Thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you, Treasurer Ma, for your time, your expertise, and of course, your service to the state of California. All right, everyone, it's time for another poll. And here we go. Do you know anyone that's had a baby in the last 2 years? And I see our poll is up. Was it a niece or nephew, grandchild, or maybe your own bundle of joy? Let's find out. Okay, results are pouring in. And it looks like a majority of you do know of a new bundle of joy that's entered into the home of a friend, family member, or even your own. Our next presenter will share some exciting news with you that can benefit new families, especially these little ones. I would now like to pass it to Noah Lightman, Program Manager for CalKids. Noah?
Thank you so much, Christian, Catherine, and of course, Treasurer Ma for facilitating this great webinar. And thank you all for taking time out of your day to be here and learn about the great resources that are offered by the State Treasurer's Office to your local governments. I want to talk with you about a new exciting program that we administer called the CalKids program. But first, let me set the stage for a second. I work for a very small state agency that State Treasurer Fiona Ma serves as the chair for, called the ScholarShare Investment Board. If you have children yourself, you may be familiar with ScholarShare because we administer the state's 529 college savings plan. 529 plans are offered by almost every state, and essentially it allows families an opportunity to invest their funds in an account that grows tax deferred. And when those funds are used for higher education, that money is tax free. And so our agency's been around for 25 years, administering essentially a savings program to help families invest their funds for higher education. But we have the distinct pleasure of administering this new program that was created in an effort to help more and more families work on their own efforts and empower them to essentially jumpstart their own savings and also get some free money while they're at it. So, a little bit of background of this program. Back in 2019, the legislature and governor said, we want to create a system whereby every baby born in the state would automatically have some funds invested in an account that could eventually be used for higher education. Now, that was in 2019. It was a little bit underfunded. We all know what happens in 2020 with COVID, and we're not sure, is this program going to launch? Is it not going to launch? And then in 2021, when the state had more funds available, the legislature and governor's office said, we love this concept so much. Let's also expand it to impact students who were widely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And so we launched essentially two programs all under this one label called CalKids in the summer of 2022. And so, as Christian asked you all, if you know of any baby born in California after July 1st of 2022, you know someone eligible for the program. So, in short, every baby born in the state, regardless of their family income, automatically gets some funds set aside for them. And if they take additional efforts to save on their own through the state's 529 college savings plan, we'll give them even more money. And they can get up to $175. That's there dedicated for them. And on the student side, how it works is we were given data by the Department of Education of about 3.5 million low-income public school students from 2 academic years ago. And each of those students is given $500. And if they were identified as either a foster youth or homeless, we give them another $500. And for frankly, the very unfortunate population that's identified as all three categories, we give them up to $1,500. And the general concept with this structure is that over time, we continue adding new low-income public school students into the program when they're in first grade. So why this program was designed and why the state wanted to look at this is there's a lot of research out there that suggested that children with any savings whatsoever are going to be more likely to pursue academic opportunities than kids that didn't have any savings before then. This is essentially the state saying to the students, we believe in you from the start, as opposed to must do X, Y, and Z in order to get a traditional merit scholarship. And so this is a fantastic opportunity to help either kickstart or support financial aid that's needed for students pursuing higher education. And again, I really want to thank Treasurer Ma for including this program here today, because we have a job right now to make sure that every eligible student understands that they have this account that they can eventually use for a variety of higher educational expenses, from tuition, room and board, books, fees, computer equipment, for example. But we need your support in doing that. And Catherine, I'm going to ask you to change the next slide, please. There's a few ways that we can work together. First is if your local entities have opportunities where you work directly with families, especially families of newborns or students themselves, perhaps it's internship programs. How can we incorporate CalKids into your programming, so that the word is out there for families to know that this program exists and it's so easy to go and claim their account? We love doing trainings too for relevant staff, that talk and work directly with those parents. Facilitating introductions as well to schools, community organizations. This is a newer program that just launched. And what we have found is that we really need that support at the local level, to get the word out and make sure that these students are aware these funds exist. And it's not just us at the state treasurer's office telling you that, but it's government, city X, county Y, school district Z telling that as well. And please visit our website at calkids.org. We have a lot of different marketing content available in English, Spanish, and in the future, other languages as well, with flyers, posters, digital content, social media, videos, that you can use to share the program with the constituents that you serve. And we're also open to other ideas as well. We'd love to partner with you. I have my email on the next slide too, calkidsadmin@calkids.org. But very simply, if you just visit calkids.org, you will find a contact button. Feel free to reach out to me there. I look forward to working with you all, and thank you again for joining today. With that, I'm going to pass it back to our MC, Christian Daly.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Noah, for giving us that briefing on the CalKids program. Now we're going to shift gears and move into another poll. So let's focus on our business community now. Do you know an entrepreneur who's looking to start or expand their business? Poll is up, and let's see. Okay, as this one is coming in, it was a little closer than our last poll about a new baby in the family. Give it a few more seconds. I see some responses in the chat. Yes. All right. Looks like many of you do know of a entrepreneur or a business owner that's looking to start and expand. And it's great because our next presenter will share some door opening information that can benefit these entrepreneurs and business owners. I'd like to pass to Sheila Tobias Daniel, Executive Director of the California Pollution Control Financing Authority, which administers our California Capital Access Program. Sheila?
Thank you, Christian. Can everybody hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Thank you to the Treasurer and to the Executive Office for having me today, inviting me to share some information about our programs here in CPCFA. We are also known for our CalCap program. We're known for California Pollution Control, but overall, our mission is to provide access to capital for California's businesses. We are a financing authority, one of the Treasurer's 17 boards, commissions, and authorities. And we were originally established as a conduit bond issuer for both larger and smaller companies. We can go to the next slide. To provide tax-exempt private activity bonds for privately owned solid waste, water supply, and wastewater projects. But we are just as much known now for our California Capital Access Program, which provides credit enhancements to small businesses. On that conduit bond issuance side, we also have the ability to issue rate reduction bonds for publicly owned utilities. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our grant programs that we also have. We have our California Investment and Innovation Program. It's a capacity building grant for community development financial institutions that support small businesses. And then we also have our California Recycle Underutilized Sites Cal Reuse program. It's a brownfield remediation program where we clean up contaminated land so that it can be used for useful things for Californians, such as housing. But the star of the show today is our California Capital Access Program, or CalCap. And we provide credit enhancement support for small businesses with this program. And if we are really excited about the State Small Business Credit Initiative, which recently granted funds to our CalCap program to support our mission of credit enhancement. We received these monies from U.S. Treasury, and we partnered with our partners over at the iBank, California Infrastructure and Economic Development Bank, under GoBiz, the governor's office, and we brought over $1 billion to California to support credit enhancement for small businesses. Split that down the middle with our partners at iBank. They applied on the strength of their venture capital program and their small business loan guarantee program, while we here in CPCFA, we applied for those funds on the strength of our California Capital Access Program, collateral support, and our California Capital Access Program for small business. A little more information about those programs. The collateral support program is our large dollar volume program. The loans for that program can be as small as $25,000. They can be as large as $20 million. And it's for businesses who are otherwise pretty solid in terms of credit worthiness, but they just simply lack the collateral or the amount of collateral that they need for the size loan that they want. So this program comes in with up to 50% of the cash pledge of the total loan. And we put that up as collateral for the loan so that the lender can go ahead and make that loan. And then our California Capital Access Program for small business, that's our loan loss reserve program. And that's termed our micro dollar program, because loans for that program can be as small as $1,500, and it can go all the way up to $5 million. And loans are enrolled by the lender into a loan loss reserve account that we establish for them. And as loans are enrolled in that program, we make a contribution along with the lender's fees and contributions to build up a sizable loan loss reserve. Then at the point that that loan might possibly default, that lender can file a claim and receive up to 100% of the defaulted loan. Pretty nice incentive for most of the lenders to go ahead and make those loans. So we're pretty proud of those programs. There's also, if you look at that last lane, there's also money for technical assistance to help small business borrowers get ready and get loan ready so that they can get those loans. To our last page, we are always happy to answer questions about our programs. We work primarily with the lender, but for the borrower, we can supply them with our lender lists and our technical assistance references so that they can work with the lender and the lender can enroll their loans with us. Any questions can be directed to our CPCFA outreach at treasurer email, but we also have information on the screen for you for both our CalCap collateral support and our CalCap for small business. We're also excited about our new zero emission heavy duty loan loss reserve program coming up for those lenders looking to work with small businesses needing to build up their fleets and meet the zero emission mandates. So thank you very much for having me here today, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sheila. And now we're going to pause. I know we're in the last legs and minutes of our webinar, but we're going to pause real quick for some questions about the presentations that you've just heard, either on the CalKids program or CPCFA's CalCap program or the California Capital Access Program. So if you have a question, feel free to drop it in the chat and we will get to it. If you have another question, I see someone from our team is letting you know how you can get that question to the respective team, and we appreciate all of your input, questions, and curiosities. So I think everyone is satisfied and happy. I don't see any questions in the chat here. So we thank you very much. And moving right along, we have a question for you, though. We would love to know how we can better serve you and your respective communities, keeping these webinars tuned to meet your needs. So we would love to know which STO program area do you want to learn more about. There's some options there for you on the screen in your poll. All right, this one is very competitive. Seeing the scales move up and down, it's almost as exciting as watching an Olympics tracks meet. All in all, we thank you and we are sincerely grateful for this feedback. Again, we'd like to thank you for your time joining us for the first of our Inside the Vault webinar series. If you had a eureka moment and would like to partner with us to share this information with your community, email us at askfiona@treasurer.ca.gov. If you have any questions, remember, we're just an email away. Visit our website to learn even more about our office and the resources available to you at treasurer.ca.gov. And be sure to sign up for our newsletter to see our work around the state. Lastly, be on the lookout for an email with information on the programs you heard about today and an invitation to our next webinar in September. Thank you for the vital work you do for your communities and for joining with us to improve the lives of Californians. Have a great day.